Can you imagine what it would be like if the garbage truck stopped running for a while? It wouldn't take long before there would be a serious problem. Garbage and trash would start piling up fast. It's obvious that a method for removing wastes is an important part of every community. Well, the same thing holds true for our bodies. There are wastes produced in our bodies that must be removed, or else the body can suffer and even die. The removal of waste from an organism is called excretion, and is the topic of this videotape. There are trillions of living cells in the body which must receive food and oxygen to stay alive. 4 body systems work together to gather these requirements. The digestive system brings in food and processes the food during digestion. The respiratory system brings in the oxygen and transfers it into the circulatory system so that it can be delivered to all cells. The circulatory system also carries the processed food to the cells. In the cells, the food is used to release energy. Waste products from this process must be collected by the circulatory system and then eliminated from the body in the 4th system, called the excretory system. Metabolism is the sum of all chemical processes that take place in the cells, or entire organism. As a result of metabolism, there are waste products produced. These wastes, which are called metabolic wastes, must be eliminated from the organism. If the wastes build up, they can poison the body. They can also prevent oxygen and food from entering the cells. These wastes include carbon dioxide, water, nitrogen, inorganic salts, and heat. The organs of the excretory system are the lungs, the kidneys, the liver, and the skin. The lungs. The lungs are a part of the respiratory system and the excretory system. Air is breathed into the lungs, and a gas exchange takes place inside the tiny air sacs of the lungs called alveoli. Oxygen from the air moves through the thin walls of the alveoli and through the walls of the capillaries, or microscopic blood vessels that surround the alveoli. The oxygen is attracted to and held by the hemoglobin in the red blood cells. The oxygen-rich blood will move back to the heart and receive a giant push travel throughout the body. The oxygen will then be released to living cells. The cells need oxygen to carry on respiration, which is the releasing of energy from food and oxygen within the individual cells. The waste product, carbon dioxide, is produced during this process. It is released to the red blood cells and then carried back to the lungs for elimination from the body. The carbon dioxide travels from the red blood cells and moves into the alveoli. From there it is exhaled from the body when a person breathes out. Water vapor is also exhaled during this process. The kidneys. The kidneys are the main organs of the excretory system. They are a little larger than a bar of soap and are shaped like kidney beans. They are located just above the waist, with one on each side of the spinal column. The 2 kidneys are protected by layers of fat and by the bottom ribs. They are behind the stomach. They are the body's filtration system. The kidneys help to maintain a balance among the elements inside the body. This balance is referred to as homeostasis. The kidneys perform the following important jobs. They remove urea and other waste from the blood, regulate the amount of water in the circulatory system, and adjust the amounts of certain substances in the blood. The kidneys filter waste and poisons from the blood at an incredible rate. They filter about 1/4 of a liter of blood per minute, as it is sent to them through arteries of the circulatory system. This means that the entire blood supply passes through the kidneys once every 30 minutes. Within each kidney are an estimated 1 million microscopic nephrons, where the filtering actually takes place. This complex network of capillaries and nephron tubes is illustrated here. Each nephron contains a cluster of capillaries called a glomerulus. A cup-shaped sac called a Bowman's capsule surrounds each glomerulus. The blood that flows through the glomerulus is under great pressure. This causes water, urea, glucose, and minerals to move into the Bowman's capsule. Red blood cells, white blood cells, and proteins remain in the blood. As the blood continues through the blood vessels, it winds around the renal tubule. During this time, reabsorption occurs. Glucose and chemicals such as potassium, sodium, hydrogen, magnesium, and calcium are reabsorbed into the blood. Almost all the water removed during filtration returns to the blood during the reabsorption phase. The water and mineral composition of the body is actually regulated by the kidneys. The kidneys control the amount of liquid in our bodies. Now, only wastes are in the nephron. These wastes are called urine and include water, urea, and inorganic salts. There may also be some sugar and nutrients present if there is an excess of these substances in the blood. The cleansed blood goes into veins that carry the blood from the kidneys and into a major vein that carries the blood back to the heart. From the heart, the cleansed blood will circulate throughout the body. The bladder. The urine travels from the nephrons into the center of the kidneys. A tube called the ureter will carry the urine, which is amber-colored, into a muscular sac called the bladder. The bladder is capable of holding about 470 milliliters of urine. When the bladder is full, a signal is sent to the brain, and the fluid is released into the urethra. This is a tube that leads outside of the body. The urine is released during a process called urination. The liver. The liver, which is located just right of the stomach, is another organ that plays a major role in excretion. Food that has been digested in the small intestine travels to the liver, where some of it is stored and released back to the bloodstream in a controlled fashion. Sugar in the blood is removed in the liver and stored as glycogen. When the sugar level in the blood goes down, the liver breaks down the glycogen and releases sugar back into the blood. If there is no room in the liver to store glycogen, the liver changes the sugar to fat and stores it in other parts of the body. Blood sugar level is important because sugar is the energy provider for all the cells of the body. If the liver's supply of glycogen runs out, it converts these fats to sugars. Amino acids release nitrogen when they are changed into sugars, glycogen, or fats. This nitrogen is changed by the liver into urea, which is carried to the kidneys by the bloodstream. The urea will be eliminated from the body from the kidneys. The liver also removes from our bodies poisonous substances such as mercury in fish, poisonous fumes from paint, and chemicals sprayed on food. The liver is our body's main defense from poisons like those mentioned above. The liver also changes hemoglobin from dead red blood cells into bile, which is used in the small intestine to break down fats. Bacteria from the large intestine is removed from the blood by the liver. The skin. The last member of the excretory team is the skin. The skin is the largest organ of the body. It covers an area of 1.5 to 2 square meters in an average adult. That represents a space about the size of a small area rug. The thickness of the skin varies from a 0.5 millimeters on the eyelids to 6 millimeters on the soles of the feet. There are two general layers of the skin. The outer layer is called the epidermis and is made up of layers of flat cells. The surface cells of this layer are dead. They are constantly rubbing off and being replaced by cells below them. This outer layer of skin provides a waterproof shield against germs and bacteria. Under the epidermis is a layer called the dermis. The cells in this layer are all alive. This layer contains blood vessels, nerve endings, sweat and oil glands, hair follicles, and fat cells. The sweat glands have tubes that lead to the surface of the skin at points called sweat pores. Perspiration is released at these sweat pores. Water, urea, and inorganic salts are included in perspiration. Besides ridding the body of these wastes, perspiration also cools the body and helps maintain a proper body temperature. When you exercise, work hard, or if the temperature of your surroundings is high, you sweat or perspire. The sweat evaporates when it reaches the surface of the skin. During evaporation, heat is required to change the liquid to a gas. This heat comes from the body. Therefore, the body is cooled as the sweat evaporates. Summary. Today we have taken a close look at the excretory system of the human being. This system works with other systems to maintain a healthy body. The liver, kidneys, lungs, and skin are the organs of the excretory system. The lungs are responsible for releasing carbon dioxide and water vapor from the body. The liver and kidneys filter materials from the blood. The skin has sweat glands that release water, salts, and urea. Perspiration also cools the body and helps to keep a balanced body temperature. The excretory system is crucial to survival. If the system doesn't perform properly, the consequences can mean death. Video quiz. Students may write the answers to the following questions on a separate piece of paper or on the duplicating master entitled Video Quiz. 1. What are the 4 organs of the excretory system? Two. Why is the excretory system important to the human body? 3. How do kidneys clean the blood? 4. How is perspiration important to regulating body temperature? 5. What are the names of the 2 main layers of the skin? 6. What is urine? 7. What job does the bladder perform? 8. What does the term homeostasis mean? Nine. What role do the lungs have in the excretory system? Ten. How big are the kidneys and where are they located?